Hello, hope everybody's well. It's been a couple of weeks since my last video, so I thought it was due an update. If you remember last time, I'd done a load of Union figures in a fairly short space of time, with a view to playing some Rebels and Patriots or sharp practice. So obviously if you're going to do one side, you need something for them to fight against, so the next thing on the list was the Confederates. I think, as I probably said before, these are all Perrys from the Battle in a Box set, and I've got a couple of extra box sets on the side as well just to make up some numbers. Again, I've done this probably in about 4 weeks, I think, which is not too bad. So I'll run you through them sort of unit by unit quite quickly, just so give you a sort of an overview. There's nothing here that exciting that lots of other people haven't posted similar things before, but yeah, just to give you an update on progress and where we are. The other thing, I'll mention it now while I think of it as well, it's obviously Salute this weekend. I don't know if anyone's going, but I know a few people are. But Leon was advertising some sort of meet-up around about 1 o'clock in the painting area by the painting competition. It's fairly easy to find if you've not been before. It's right in the middle. You can't miss it if you're wandering around. So yeah, I was probably going to, definitely going to go along there and try and say hello to a few people if anybody's about. So yeah, just in case you'd missed his announcements, just let you know. As far as I know, anyway, that's going on. So yeah, if you're around, it'd be great to catch up. So I'll get that at the beginning while I remember. Onto the figures. So yeah, Confederates, obviously. This is the start with the command base. I've got, yeah, just try and make something a little bit of a diorama because I'm using small groups. I'm not putting lots of flags and drums in the units because they're whatever I'm playing, they're going to be quite small groups. So I thought I'd put at least one flag and drum on the command base. I've got the flags in the box set, and the other figure there at the front with the binoculars is I think some sort of cavalry officer, but he's another Perry's metal figure. Somebody at the club, I picked up a couple of metal figures off, so I've just used him as part of the setting. So I try and make a bit of a diorama out of that. Obviously I need to finish the basing of all of these. I'm waiting on something through the post which will hopefully solve that one for me. I don't know if anyone's watching the Luke's Affordable Paint service. I'm sure most people are. Channel Luke's apps. He's been advertising some sort of basing material recently, which is supposed to be a sort of one hit. You put the glue on and then you get all your grass, your rocks, your texture, everything in one pot. So I bought a few of them because I thought if that works, which it seems to from everything I've seen a few reviews on YouTube, and it seems to be very positive. So if that does work, I'll give that a go, and hopefully I'll be able to base these up in pretty quick time, because previously I was putting sand on, then PVAing it down, then several layers of paint and dry brushing, and then flock on top, and then PVA all that down, and so several steps. If I can do that in one step, I should be able to save a ton of time. So that's the theory. But yeah, so that's the command base. I'll move on to another group. So yeah, next up, fairly obviously, gun. Again, fairly easy to do, easy to paint. The weirdest thing is with these guys is because the impression I get, and from what you see, the clothes were so sort of ragtag. It is just a combination. It's just a case of just throwing various browns and greys together and see what you come up with. But yeah, I don't think it's too bad. I think that's the right colour for the gun. It certainly matches with some of the pictures I sort of found online. If it's not, it's too late now probably. So I'll live with it. The main thing is to get some games out of these guys. So yeah, so that's the gun. Yeah, then we've got some characters or officers who should be able to certainly in sharp practice. You have, as you may know, you have your leaders. So I've marked them up on sort of hex bases, so they're distinguishable. Again, there's a couple of perimetals at the front there. Slightly different figures. Otherwise, the other three are all they're all actually the same body, built up from the Battle in a Box set, but using a combination of different hats and weapon options. Hopefully managed to make them look a little bit distinctive with some different colours and things as well. But yeah, nice figures. Hopefully should give me enough sort of characters, leaders for the games I want to play. Move on to the next thing. So now we're on to the sort of ragtag infantry. Again, as I say, I was a little bit unsure about colours. I'm not trying to depict any particular unit, so I was fairly free and easy with them. I'd got 36 in total, and I just literally lined them all up and did them in one batch. Did a number of blue trousers, a number of grey trousers, a number of brown trousers. Same with the tops. Try to, you've got some in the sort of, I guess what would be the classic sort of uniform, but as I understand it, that was very much not the case for what a lot of people were wearing. So yeah, we ended up with a combination of all sorts. Hopefully it doesn't look too ragtag. I wanted them to look pretty sort of have that campaign feel. I didn't want them like they just stepped out of the barracks with their first issue of uniform. So hopefully we've achieved that. And yeah, as I say, I've got 36 of them in total, so they'll be broken down into sort of units of 8 or 12. I'm not trying to depict any particular regiment or unit, so they just go together in any old combination, really. That's the theory. So yeah, that's the first group. Yeah, and there's another dozen. I can assure you these are another 12 figures. They're not just, I haven't just rearranged the previous ones. Hard to tell probably, but yeah, so another 12 figures, 36 in total. Again, not a lot else to say about these. As you can see, the figures in the box, there's sort of a combination. You can either have them with their sort of rifles shouldered, or you can have them in some more of an advancing, charging sort of pose. So I've just done a combination. As I say, the games I'm playing, they are very much sort of small scale skirmish games, so I think you can have that kind of variety, and it doesn't look silly. It looks a bit odd if you've got a unit coming across in a big sort of rank and flank game, and you've got units with combinations. That can look a little bit odd, but yeah, it shouldn't be a problem with the sort of games I'm playing. So yeah, that's the next lot, and we'll put the last lot up in a second. Yes, these are the last sort of 12 normal line infantry types. Again, nothing really to add. It is different figures. I haven't just shuffled them around again. Just combinations of blues, browns, greys, various different hats. Yeah, I'm fairly happy with those, I think. So that's the sort of line infantry. Yeah, and then obviously you need some zouaves as well, don't you? There's some in the box, so there's no problem to do them up. And these are a little bit more colourful, so it's quite nice. Be messing around with some reds and things. I've done with all of these like I did with the Union. They're sort of a fairly quick and dirty paint job. It's just a case of putting the colour on and then the sort of corresponding ink or wash from the Army Painter range. So you're putting blues on blue, wash on red, on blue rather, red wash on reds, the kind of thing. But yeah, they come up okay. So yeah, zouaves. I did try and paint these as a particular unit. Actually, I was going originally for the, I don't know what the number is, but they're called the Louisiana Tigers. They're fairly well known as far as I know. And I've kind of got the uniforms right, except for the trousers. All the pictures I've got, they had stripy trousers, and I did try to put put stripes on the trousers, but it just didn't go very well, so I gave up in the end. I've done sort of stripy trousers on Celts in the past, which were okay, but they've got sort of fairly well-fitting trousers. These guys are in the massive blooming, I don't know what you call them, pantaloons, which billow out all over the place. Trying to get a pattern to look reasonable on that was really difficult, so I gave up in the end. It looked worse to have the stripes on than not. If anyone wants to pick me up on it, I'm happy to accept the criticism. But as I say, it would look worse if I'd carried on. It just wasn't working out. So yeah, so they're the zouaves. Yep, and these are the ones that I was least sure about. I was trying for a sort of a unit of skirmishers, and I wanted to try and distinguish them from the main unit somehow. With the Union, it was quite easy because I just did a sort of a unit of green riflemen. Whereas with the Confederates, it's a bit harder to work out how to distinguish them. So I sort of went for a bushwhacker type of unit, which I thought gave us a little bit more scope for colours and irregularity. But yeah, I can't decide if some of the colour combinations work in the end, but they were different colours to what I had on the other units, so they kind of, yeah, maybe they do, maybe they don't, but hopefully I'll be able to distinguish them anyway. As I say, that's the main thing. So yeah, again, it was difficult to work out how to make them different with when you're using the same figures, but I had the figures, I didn't really want to buy any more. So yeah, this is what we came up with in the end. So yeah, that's those. And last of all, just for fun, unit of cavalry. Again, straight out the Battle in a Box set. Nothing particularly fancy about them. but they go together nicely. I think I did pick out a particular unit for the uniform, but I've thrown a couple of different coloured jackets and trousers in there just for variety, and hats and what have you, because I say again, I don't imagine they would have looked like they just stepped off the parade ground too often. But yeah, that's the last group really. I think for sharp practice cavalry come in groups of 8 actually, so I may need to do a couple more at some point, but that's no problem because I've got a couple of extra sprues there. But certainly for rebels and patriots, cavalry normally come in 6s or 12s, but I'm not going to do 12 just yet. But yeah, come in 6s, so that should do the trick. Yeah, so that's it really. That's the Confederates. Hopefully get some games out of these soon. Nothing arranged definitely as yet, but we will get some games sorted soon. So yeah, just an update really, show you where we are. Next thing to do, I was going to go back to the American War of Independence. Being a little bit of a butterfly, I'm not shelving that. I'm going to go back to that definitely, because I've got a lot more to do and I really want to get back to that. But I've been playing a lot to the strongest lately for the ancients and really enjoying it. And all I have at the moment is the Celts that I painted up last year, which are good. Having some good games with them, but it'd be nice to have something else now and again to use. So yeah, get a little bit of variety. What I have got, maybe 18 months ago or so, Victrix were doing some sort of 20% offer with free postage and everything else, so I ended up buying a load of Carthaginians from them. So I've had them knocking around for about a year and I haven't really done anything with them. So I've just been in the process last few days of putting those together and priming them, so I can have it might take, there's a few there, it might take me a few months, but yeah, I think that's the next thing I'm going to work on really, getting a decent sort of Carthaginian force together. To start with, it'll be a Carthaginian force with a heavy contingent of Celtic allies, because I've got those already. So yeah, it should mean hopefully if I get a few sort of African units to go alongside them, and a couple of Spanish units, I should be able to end up with a reasonable sort of Carthaginian force relatively quickly. I've got a lot more to build it up afterwards if I want to, but I should be able to get something that I can get on the table relatively quickly, as long as people accept that there's a decent number of Celtic allies, which was fairly realistic anyway for certain parts of their history. So yeah, that's where we are, I think. So that will be coming over the next few weeks. Other than that, before I start rambling, I hope you enjoyed. Hope everyone's doing well. Hope your projects are going well, enjoying your videos. Thanks for watching and subscribing. It's all greatly appreciated, keeps you motivated. And yeah, thanks again. And so if anyone's at Salute about 1 o'clock around the painting competition, I'm certainly going to stick my head there and see who's about, so it'd be great to see anyone that's there. Anyway, all the best. Thanks again for watching. Take care. Bye bye.